We're going to start with the T7X onboarding for beta. Okay, so the important things you're going to need to onboard are your government issued ID and your proof of address. As listed up here, there are quite a few different options for your government issued ID. And then your proof of address, which has to be a recent credit card or utility bill within 90 days. And then as included at the bottom right there, the statement date, due date, and then it has to match your first and last name on your ID exactly. Both of these, it's either best to have them as like a PDF or an image you can already have uploaded on your laptop or your phone or another device, or you can choose to take an image of them. That is a little bit more challenging in the moment. So we do recommend like already having the PDF or the image already saved on your device. But you can do the other way. It's just a little more stickler when going through KYC. Okay, so this is our sign up page if you are not familiar yet. The important thing to know is you just have to do your first name, your last name, and your email. At this time, we don't need to worry about the company organization or the referral ID. The referral IDs for our referral program, which we're not working on at the moment in beta, so you don't need to worry about anything else. You just need to click next. And then your password. So as you can see down there, it has little requirements. You need them all to turn green in order to be able to submit the password. And if you need to be able to view it, you can click the little eye connotation at the very end to be able to view your password if you weren't sure what you put. And then you do those two things, and then you're all set. You will be getting an email with your verification link. This step is really important. You need to be able to go into your email to see these two emails that you'll get from us. You need to go click on the email verification one specifically from Nomics, as right here is the link that you have to click to verify your email. Now at this stage, you have to do this and to be able, in order to be able to proceed to the onboarding process. If you do not, you will be halted. If you do not get this email at all, please email us at support@t7x.io and then we'll help you. But at this time, everybody should be getting their emails, no issues. But again, if you do have an issue and you didn't get these two emails, please let us know. So you verify your email, you click that link and it says verifying your email, and up here in the right-hand corner, it tells you that your email's been successfully verified, which is what we want. From there, it will redirect you to the onboarding process. At the top, you'll be able to see everything you're going to go through. So right here, we're going to start with the terms and conditions, then your ID verification, wallet setup, and account activation. So we'll go through all that. First things first, we got the terms and conditions. You can scroll down and view this whole document, totally up to you. You can scan through it, read it however you wish, and then you click that you have read and agreed. If you want, you can also choose to print it. That is your choice. And then you're going to click next. So this is the longer verification process that we have mentioned that you're going to need your ID and your address verification or address proof of address for. So we do have a lot of these other different options, but at this time, right now, we are only doing register as a user. We will be doing register as business, but right now that's not available. We will email you and let you guys know when it is. So at this time, we're just doing individuals. So you're just going to register as a user yourself. You're going to click that button and then you're going to click next. And then this window will pop up and you're going to proceed with our KYC process. So what you're going to do is you're going to click begin verifying. And then it's going to ask you a variety of questions. So we're going to go through them so you know exactly what you're getting. You're going to first do your government ID. It's going to ask you what country you're from. Obviously, I chose the United States for me. And then they have all these different options for your government ID. I chose driver's license, but you can do your passport and a multitude of other ones. So for this situation, I ended up taking a picture on my phone. So I started this whole process on my laptop. So I'll show you what it looks like. As you can see, there's 3 different options. You can choose to take an image on the device that you're having. This was on my laptop. I chose not to do that. You can also upload a photo, which is normally what I would recommend, or you can choose to continue on another device. So again, I chose to continue on my phone to take a picture of my ID since I did not save it on my laptop, which I should have done. But you're going to see what it looks like. So when you do click continue on another device, the QR code will pop up, or you can choose to send yourself an email. This is easiest going from laptop to phone. So I scanned this with my phone and this is what it looked like. So from the perspective of my phone, I scanned the QR code and this popped up here that said, do you want to switch from another device? I said continue. And then again here I indicated which photo ID I wanted to use. I chose driver's license. And then it was really easy to take an image of my driver's license on my phone. So I clicked the little button there. This is what it looked like. So you put the image, your ID within the little brackets, and you put the little face with the little words and the exact positioning there. And then obviously my ID's right there, I covered it. And then I got to indicate that I used this photo, or I can choose to retake it, but that's up to you. So if it looks good and not blurry, then you would say, I'm going to use that photo. And then this is what it looks like for when you take the back of your ID, which is what it wants for your driver's license, as usual on most things. And then the same process here where I said I wanted to use this photo. So front and back of my driver's license. Next, after you do your government ID, it wants to let you know that you are who you say you are. So I did this on my phone. I said get started, but I could have continued back to go on to my laptop if I wished. So I said get started on my phone. I looked to the left and then I looked to the right. As you can tell, I looked to the left and then it cleared the little bar on the left-hand side. And then I moved my head to the right after the bar cleared. And then it showed that it was verifying. So you just kind of follow the steps. And as you can see too, I made sure my face was within the circle. I had to move it forward and backward a little bit to make sure it matched up, and then it worked no problem. Again, if you have questions or if you're having a pickle in regards to struggling to get through, please let us know. Now the next one is a information that it's gathering for the purpose of compliance. It wants to know your employment status, and I put all the little options in regards to what you'll see for the selection up here so we can go through those together. So for the employment status, we have to select from these ones like full-time, part-time, retired, continue on, unemployed, other. For the industry or sector, we chose over here the different options. This is only the top part. There's way more options down below, but as you can see, there's quite a bunch of different varieties. And then for the next one, it wants to know your primary source of funds that you'll be using on this platform. So where are your funds going to come from? This can come from your salary, self-employment, savings, inheritance, gifts. So you select which one of those that will be coming from. And then you're going to let us know how often you expect to transact. So you have daily, weekly, monthly, or occasionally. And then the last one that we want to know is the estimated monthly transaction volume on the platform. So that's about how much you're going to transact per month. So I indicated for this one, for clicked as it shows, less than $1,000, but you can click up to more than 100,000. And then you're just going to confirm that the information you provided is true. And then we'll go to the next step. So you're going to be confirming your address. So this will be coming from your already pre-filled in from your government ID if there's an address on there. Now, what's important to note is you need this address that you're going to fill in here, which you can change, but it will be pre-filled from your government ID. You can change it, but it has to match your proof of address. So you're going to input the address that's on your proof of address. This was changed to make this easier because if your address on your ID does not match where you're currently living, you have proof of address, that creates some hiccups. But here we have that all cleared up. So we'll just make sure that these match. And then proof of address, again, it's easiest to upload or to taking a picture. If you do choose to do so, you have to make sure that it shows everything and it's within the parameters of the image and it can't be blurry. So I did not have the proof of address on my phone as I'm going through this process on my phone, so I chose to continue on another device. So again, I selected continue on another device and it popped up right here. So since I was on my phone, the QR code wasn't quite helpful for being able to transition over to my laptop. So I texted myself this link, but I also could have sent myself an email with the link, which would have been another option to do. And so we're back on my laptop. And I said, yes, I'm going to continue and switching from another device. And it's processing my document for my proof of address. And so we wait for a second, and then that's the end of the KYC process. So I'll have completed the entirety of it. It says you have completed your identity verification. So that's everything it asks for. Your government ID, the proof that you are who you say you are in regards to your image, the Q&A, and then your correction of your address, and then your proof of address. Now, as you notice, because I had switched back and forth, it took me to a different URL that says inquirywithpersona.com. So the initial onboarding URL we need to go back to. So at this stage, it says I've completed my identity verification, and I check the URL that I'm at, and it says that I'm in query with Persona. So it's a little pop-up with this one. So I have to go back to the onboarding where you can see all the different options with the blue background, and it'll also show me here that I have completed my identity verification when you go back to this one. Now at this stage, you need to make sure you click out of here, or you can choose to continue. So this is the option to save Persona. You don't really have to, that's totally up to you. Either ways works. You just have to click continue or click out. So click out as in click this little box right here. We're not clicking out here yet. That's the next stage. So once we click that, then it says, then we have right here, we need to click that big button that says next, because we need to go to our next stage. We can't just click out of it all because that's problematic. And at any point, if you get out of or you lose your spot on the onboarding URL or the page where you can see all of these different steps, then you will go, I'll show you where you're going to go back to the beginning of the login, and you're going to click like onboard, and you'll get a link via your email where you can then get redirected to this page. Again, I'll go through that a little bit after, not to confuse it all, but we're just going to click next. This stage, and then now our identity is verified. In other words, we've completed this section. So we're now going to click next here. As you can see at the very end of the ID verification stage, there's like 3 different clickings of next you have to make sure you do instead of clicking out of everything. So you need to be careful on those 3. And then this next step, which is kind of our last step, is our wallet setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to click wallet, and I'll explain a little more about how this part, why we need to do this at the very end. But you're going to click create your wallet, and it's going to provide you with this user recovery kit that you're just going to save. So you can choose to print or copy and paste, however you wish. Just store those just in case so you have them. And then you're going to be saving your passkey. So this will be saved specifically to the device in which you choose to save it to, which this will be used later on to verify like sending of funds from Bridge, which we'll go over later in regards to talking about what that means. But essentially you need to remember which device you're saving this passkey to. So, and this is also associated with saving your KYC that you've completed. It'll be saved with this portion. So every time you're in part of the T7X ecosystem of any sort, it'll reference back to say that, hey, they've completed all their KYC and compliance. They're all good to be able to do whatever they wanted to do there. I'm going to click yes. So for me, I have the fingerprint reader on my laptop. So I chose to do that with my laptop, and I click save. And then now my account is activated and it's all set. Now at this stage, you can click get started, which will then redirect you back to the login page. At this stage, since you've gone through the entirety of the process, it says your account has been activated. That means you've gone through the entirety of the onboarding process. Now remember, as I said, if you get stuck or if you get lost out of the onboarding URL and at any stage you click out of it, you go to here. So at the login part, you go to onboarding pending, you click onboard. At that point, you're going to put your email associated with your account that you have, and you're going to click submit. And then if you've started the onboarding process, as in like if you've continued on, you got kicked out, you'll have an email that's sent to you, which then you'll be able to click the link to be able to take you there, and it'll look just like this. So you're going to resume your onboarding to go through the whole process. Now, if you didn't register remember that verification link that you got for your verifying your email at the beginning? If you did not click that at all, it will show that you did not, there's no user found in the system. So it's very important to make sure you verify your email with that email address. And then you make sure you complete the entirety of the onboarding process. And then as we just did with this portion, as you could tell, I got to the account activated stage. So I'm all done with onboarding. That means that the user is already onboarded. So there's 3 different stages to kind of tell with where you're at. If you're wondering where you're at, my biggest advice is making sure that you click your verification. And then if you're wondering where you're at in regards to the onboarding process, you just click there and input your email. So this is where we're at there. And then now at this point, you can choose to log in, and then this will pop up right here. Now, just because you go complete through the entirety of the onboarding process does not mean your KYC is approved yet. T7X Compliance will be viewing and being able to manually approve. So at this point, if you see this pop up, it just says, if you've already completed your identity verification, please wait for compliance to review. If not, click here. But since you went through the entirety of the onboarding process, you're all set. You just have to wait. Now, when you are approved, this banner will go away and you will receive an email that looks similar to this. Same thing. And it says your account has been approved and now you can fund your account and begin trading. So that is the go time to be able to then fund your account. But until then, you can pop around and look, but you can't fund your account until then. Okay, so I'm going to be going over a few questions that have popped up as well as a few little updates, and then we'll be open for questions. So first, when funding account, this is a little screenshot. This is the wallet section. For right now, there's two different options, funding with fiat, and then there's funding with crypto. Right now, this is a little bit update in regards to Bridge. I know we've had a lot of questions associated with that, which is our third party that handles the funding with fiat. At the moment, we are kind of waiting on them to finish something or adjust something. So your funds are okay, but we're waiting to be able to then move your funds into your actual account from there. So there's like a two-step process and we're kind of halted at that point. So if you're wanting to send funds in immediately and to be able to transact, I recommend sending in crypto directly. So funding your accounts, we're going to go through that process. Let's see. So right here, this is the wallet section. You can then choose to click send or receive. Obviously, for like depositing, you'd want to click receive. And so this looks right here. You're going to receive right here. Let me see at the bottom. You're going to copy and paste that address or use a QR code. Essentially, with everything with crypto, I think we went over this last time. It's safer to be able to make sure that you copy and paste. So whether that means your device or your laptop or your phone, whichever one, but copying and pasting and sending small amounts initially is best bet into making sure that you don't lose anything, because with crypto, you kind of make sure you have to send it to the correct one. So going back to here, you click send or receive. And then when sending funds out, you'll send the external address if you want to comment, or then the amount. Also with this, you can send to other accounts you just have to know their email address. If you wish to send funds to a friend that has an account on T7X, you totally can do that. And then I think that covers that piece. Small amounts, make sure you copy and paste with crypto. And then again, also another part, I know we've had some questions in regards to deposits with TSC as well as withdrawals, which we'll go over that part and then we'll be ready. So specifically with TSC, this will be the receiving portion right here. We then make sure that you're clicking receive. This is where you're going to send your funds to for TSC. You're going to copy your T7X TSC address right here. This is the EVM one. Just so we're clear, remember, there's two different ones in Prosper Link. There's your TSC one, and then there's your EVM one. Anything interacting with TSC on T7X has to be your EVM address. As you can see, it starts with 0x over here. And then your TSC address starts with TSC. I know I've heard that they will be having both addresses available eventually, as in that's coming up. It's not available at the moment. But if you choose to send funds to T7X, you don't need to worry about that. It's when you're withdrawing them. You need to make sure it goes back. So if you're sending funds into T7X, you just make sure that you copy and paste the address that it chose to send funds through. So with TSC, it'll pick which address works better. So if it's sending to an EVM wallet, it'll pick the EVM one to come from. So to simplify in regards to sending funds to T7X, you make sure you're clicking send on the Prosper Link side, and the address you're going to copy and paste from the T7X receive for your TSC one. Okay, I think we went over that last time. And then that is it for